opportunity once more. After a while, again, this is the second time I am having the interview for you, and I hope it will be again a very pleasant one. My name is Emre Göllü. I am Turkish, working since 16 years in the pharmaceutical industry, here in the field of operation management, in which areas supply chain management, production and quality management have been included in. I was born and grew up in Istanbul here, graduated chemical engineering in Istanbul Technical University, then also continued the Master of Science in the same fields, studied MBA to enrich the personal capabilities from the commercial sense, and I also completed my PhD in business administration with the specific focus of management in the specialization of supply chain management. So where I feel directly the linkage between the professional careers requirements and academia is important directly. And today I would like to speak how it can be a common approach as a new innovative approach to bring procurement and supply chain together from strategic point of view, where these both two fields are mostly separate to each other. If you look at any of the organizations in various sectors.
And can you talk about some of this common approach to supply chain and procurement?
Yeah, let's start with innovation, because it is one of the most preferred and most trendy topics in the business environment in the last couple of years, we can say. Everyone is speaking of innovation, but how do we approach innovation? It has the source of innovatus in Latin, which means that to find new methods, create new methodologies for sociological, cultural, and managerial issues, and obtain a new and different outcome about it. Create new ways, also find new methods, especially these are called, but how to combine this synergy of procurement and supply chain through innovation. That is our key point, because in the traditional business models and organizational structures, the function of procurement can be seen as very limited. It is directly related to the inbound logistics part of supply chain, like a support function. What is expected in that sense from procurement can be said, okay, just take care of the inputs to the process, which means that, okay, please make it relevant to provide that all the required inputs are provided on time and in full, and just stop about it. And don't think about the further steps within this chain as how the process will be executed, what are the requirements, what will be the outcome, and how the supply chain directly would continue in order to create a value chain in that sense. Right now, the business environment has been rapidly changing through a globally widespread competition, which we call as globalization, where in various sectors we see that many companies from different countries do not directly hinder to compete in the new markets in different countries, and which directly brings all the competitors to think of new approaches directly to get more benefits from this competition, and directly to create added value for themselves, and directly to bring them up front in this ongoing competition, because competition will be always continuing. There will be the risk accordingly occurring in that sense. So, and in order to survive in such kind of an changing, competitive environment, and where the dynamics are rapid and highly evolving, there are some organizational and structural changes and conversions necessary, which brings strategic partnerships and strategic internal alliances into the field. Because if we speak of, for instance, global competition, which means that you need, as a company, you need to think out of borders. You need to adapt yourself to the requirements of different markets. You need to adapt your processes to meet the demands even coming in different shapes. So what does this mean to create this competitive advantage? First, internally, as your whole company, organizational wise, you need to create the capability of responding quickly to market demands. And secondly, you need to be very flexible against the rapidly changing environment in the markets. It is important to create cost advantage for yourself and to directly convert this into a real asset in the competition. And also it is important to keep the cash flow very efficient, which is also crucial to serve in the rapidly changing and the developing markets. Therefore, it is important to have the synergy between procurement and the supply chain, which are mostly handled and the process in various organizations if we look at different sectors, and where this role of procurement has been really limited compared to the flow of supply chain processes. In that sense, the approach to the procurement process can be brought from a very strategic perspective instead of a limited operations perspective, we can say. Because, as I tried to point out, it has been the approach of keeping the role of procurement very limited within the organization. Even it is necessary to involve procurement into the strategic perspective to be able to compete in rapid changing and evolving environments where the dynamics are define each other by themselves. And if you won't be able to create advantage through efficient procurement, through efficient sourcing of the inputs, you won't be able to create very efficient outputs. That is the critical process. So, procurement is mainly focused on the relations with the vendors and suppliers, we can say. So, and it is important to manage your suppliers in a very competitive and efficient way, because they will always create your inputs for your processes, for the goods you will be producing or for the services you will be rendering. So in order to be able to create competitiveness, efficiency, and profitability for your own business, so you need to get these insights from your suppliers in that process. And in that context, it is also the crucial point for procurement that it can be included into the supply chain process as a strategic partner, where the negotiation part with the suppliers to have the efficiency in the relations management and accordingly to create the continuity and the sustainability with them, to create cost saving through this cooperation, also to determine alternative suppliers, especially in the critical procurements, which can be directly classified as the bottlenecks for the, especially for production processes, we can say, for the components or for the specific goods, which cannot be tolerated in case of any interruption. It is important, as well as it is also very crucial matter to have the capability of measuring the performance of the supplier. Otherwise, it won't be possible to evaluate the relation with the supplier, whether it is directly creating added value for their organization or not. There, where the competency of the procurement department is high, it can create added value through the synergy for the supply chain. I can bring a certain example for this from my organization, where we have succeeded to have this cooperation between procurement and supply chain departments, where through only simple negotiation rounds with the key suppliers, we can say, and through some revisions and amendments in the supply conditions, we have been able to achieve a 3% yearly cost saving. And a second benefit has been the improvement in the payment term conditions, which directly has shown a positive impact on the cash flow of the company, where we have increased the payment term plus 30 days. So, and as well as we have been able to establish a certain scorecards directly to trace the performances of suppliers continuously, and so and use this performance measurement as a real feedback during the negotiations rounds carried out with them. This has been also an important process, because in the past, only directly based on carrying out negotiations based on senses, feelings, and feedbacks exchanges through only relations and verbal communications cannot create a certain and precise value, it is obvious. But if we speak of facts and figures based on the performances, this directly brings up certain evidences and shows that how the supplier should approach the business to improve itself or to keep its position. This is also important. And the procurement department, as the key strategic partner with a solid background and expertise on this, can directly bring very added value. And this synergy has also brought other benefits as well, like positioning of the procurement department within the organization. If you look at the traditional and classical organizations, we see that the role of the procurement is limited, as I tried to point out during the entry of my speech, we can say. It was only to create the input for the process, to take care of from supply chain point of view, we can say, okay, handle the inbound logistics and the stop. Also, they are just, we can say, the purchase and leave it. But for the moment, in order to achieve this synergy through a strategic advantage, we can say, okay, just do not hesitate to extend it by using the procurement function as, okay, this purchase or make it purchased for the organization, think beyond the processes on the strategic way by the other functions, and directly also observe the benefits and observe the performance of, and accordingly measure it, and then try to keep the continuity of this benefit within the organization. And if there will be any interruption or dissatisfaction through the process, it will be possible to again to get back to the starting point, start with the suppliers, and it will be easy to define the root cause, where the bottleneck is coming from, where these inefficiencies are caused by. And it also increases the teamwork and coordination between inside the organization, between the different departments and functions, we can say, which is also desired, especially if we speak of flexibility and agility in this rapid competitive environment of today. Everyone is speaking of creating a team spirit to achieve, rapid, competitive, and profitable results. But in order to realize this, it should be a background directly consisted, where different people from different departments with different responsibilities, experiences, and expertise should be aware of how to create added value, also how to bring in with their personal capabilities and convert this into a real common benefit. And this synergy also, I can tell you that definitely increases the efficiency of decision making within the organization, because every different department starts and learns how to think from different perspectives in that sense. Especially in the technical department, we see that the strategic perspective might be limited, where people focus on only the processes. But if it would be the possibility to make everyone think of end-to-end processes, its flow, and the positioning of the departments in that flow, how it may be important to keep the continuity for everyone, and knowing each other as a combination, supporting to each other in the flow like a real chain, it would be possible to come to a real value chain. And what can be done to achieve competitive advantage through this synergy? It is easily, we can say, first to intend, plan, and initiate the process to create a strategic procurement model, and as well as we directly encouraging to create common projects within the organization, where various departments are coming together and cooperate each other. And as a result, it will be possible for the organization to receive the required responsiveness, flexibility, and agility, as well as the profitability as a real outcome, and the efficiency in the utilization of the time, manpower, and resources. I hope I have been able to deliver some key points based on my personal experiences, and I will be happy to answer if there will be any question from your side.
Thank you, Emre, for sharing today.
Thanks a lot. My pleasure.